Let's sing a song full of hope, full of pain. Why don't you sing along, my friend? For it's our last refrain. Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end. No, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on. And I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Here's to the ones who let shine through the rain, the ones who stood for something more. We won't forget your names. The tide is high, say goodbye, we set it sail, and all those midnight secrets told, we'll take them to the grave. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine. I hope you all had a great game week. I hope you're all safe. Welcome to the live stream everyone. Hey Smelly Web, hey George, hey Yash, hey Mooney. Thank you so much for being here guys. So before I kind of answer your questions or talk to you about the game week, I'd just like to kind of briefly go over the games in this game week and how they went for me and what were my observations of those games. So the first game of the game week was Everton and Liverpool, a Merseyside derby, fantastic game, and we expected a difficult game for Liverpool because of the way Everton have been playing, and that's what we got. I mean, it was a pretty difficult game for Liverpool as well, and and we expected the champions to kind of respond, and they did. So my observations in this game were again that Mane looked really sharp, and in the away games I feel that Mane is it's not a stereotype anymore. I feel that at home Salah is better and away from home Mane is better. The only reason why everybody tends to go for Salah a bit more than Mane is because I think Salah is on set pieces like penalties. Otherwise, I think there's not much to choose between them. The second observation was Robertson this season is better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's not because Alexander-Arnold is a bad player or he's playing badly. It's just that Trent Alexander-Arnold is trying way too many things. He's not keeping the game simple. Robertson is keeping the game simple. He's attacking more, and I feel that at $500,000 less, Robertson is a better asset. From Liverpool, these are the players that I'd be really interested in. Other than that, as long as they have Adrian and now Virgil van Dijk is out, he had a ligament injury, he's out for like 6-7 months. I wouldn't be doubling up on their defense. If you have their double defense, I think it's a good idea to own only Robertson from that defense. From Everton, I thought Keane scored a goal, and Keane has scored a couple of goals this season. So he could be a good pick from the defense because he's one of the 5 million defenders along with Coleman, and Yerry Mina and Dean are more expensive. So that's he could be someone to keep an eye on. Calvert-Lewin doing Calvert-Lewin things again, scoring a beautiful goal, and obviously Dean, Rodriguez, we've already spoken at length about them, and I think Rodriguez 7.8, 7.9 million. He's a fantastic FPL asset. Now that we've seen him in playing small games and big games, and now that Richarlison is on a red card and he's going to be out for 3 games, then I think Rodriguez is going to play further up and he's going to have more chances. Remember when Richarlison went off in the game against Brighton, Rodriguez scored 2 goals, so could be someone to keep an eye on. So this is a very important game to talk about. Moving on, Chelsea versus Southampton, goals galore, and we expected Chelsea to win in this game. They started really well. Werner scored 2 quick goals, and Werner looking to be coming back in form, but I wouldn't read too much into this game because Southampton again played a high line. There are not many teams in this league who gonna play in a similar way, so be careful about that. Ings again scored a goal. Adams, guys, Che Adams, finally he justified his XG and he provided 1 assist and he scored a goal. So anybody who kept him, who owned him, kudos to you. Havertz scored a goal, looked really good, but I'm not sure if he can justify that the price tag 8.4 million. So it's kind of a 50-50 with Havertz. I think the asset to own from Chelsea, I think you might find it very difficult to accept, but I think Jorginho is kind of looking like a very, very good asset at 5.2 million. He's taking penalties for Chelsea. He's playing every game. He's starting every game. I think Jorginho can be a good like a midfield enabler to own from that team. Other than that, Chilwell looked good in that game, but I wouldn't read too much into this game from defensive point of view, because the way Southampton played and the way Chelsea played, it's a very, very open game. But if one of the defenders I would consider from Chelsea, it would be Chilwell. This game was a boring game, kind of. Arsenal just passing between their defenders, not attacking too much. Very difficult to watch as an Arsenal fan, but I was at least happy that we didn't get run over like we usually do in these big games. From an FPL point of view, Sterling scored a goal. Didn't look too convincing, or 11.5 million. You need to justify your price tag. So as long as he's not on penalties, for me, I don't want to own Sterling. I haven't seen enough from him. Phil Foden, maybe, I'm not even sure about Phil Foden, but since his price tag is much less than of Sterling, so I think Phil Foden can be owned. Even Mahrez looked pretty good in that game. He didn't get anything in FPL terms, but he looked good. Other than that, no Arsenal assets that I would be considering. Moving on, Newcastle versus Manchester United. This is a game which gives you a big indication of why eye test is so important. Manchester United was not in the races for a very, very long time, right? They scored a goal, at the start, and not at the start. Newcastle scored a goal at the start, and then Maguire pulled one back, and for the longest part of the game, it was 1-1, and United didn't look like scoring at all. And it was right at the death that they actually scored 3 goals. Again, as I always said in my deadline stream as well, I said Fernandes is a good captaincy option. I placed him at number 3 behind Kane and Salah, but I told everyone, if you have Fernandes, you can think about captaining him. Since he's on penalties, he takes corners, he takes free kicks, and I think Fernandes is a good asset to own. Even at 10.5 million, he's good. But the player who actually shone was Rashford. He looked really, really sharp. But the thing is, he was playing as a striker, and sometimes as a striker, sometimes on the wing. So with Martial, Rashford doesn't look as effective as he looked in this game. So if Martial is gonna play, we should not read too much into this game with the returns from Rashford. Van Bissaka scored a goal, but I wouldn't be considering any of the United defenders at this moment in time. From Newcastle, the keeper looked good. He made a penalty save, but I thought he injured himself in the process, so not much to see. Wilson had a couple of really good chances. I mean, 6.5 million, you can have a look at Wilson. But from United, Bruno Fernandes is the player to own. Even though Rashford scored one goal and got one more assist than Bruno Fernandes, but I think Bruno Fernandes is the guy to own from United. Sheffield United versus Fulham. I don't know why I own Ramsdale, and because I have to sit through these bogus games and right at the death. It's the same which happened against Leeds. He conceded in the 88th minute. This time he conceded in the, I think, 70 something. I had to sit through the whole game. I didn't have any other player. I was so happy that Mitrovic missed the penalty. Mitrovic didn't look too good, If I have Mitrovic, I'd possibly keep him one more game week. If he still doesn't do anything, I would possibly tempted to sell. Lookman looked pretty good in that game. He gave them the ability to kind of, he's a ball carrier. He runs with the ball, so he looked pretty good. Sheffield are looking really, really bad at this moment in time. All they can do is kind of defend, but attacking wise, they had a couple of really good chances, but they don't have people who can score. Maybe with the arrival of Ryan Brewster that can change, but I wasn't too impressed with what Sheffield had to offer. I think I made a mistake going with Ramsdale on in my FPL team in game week 1, but I wouldn't go for any FPL assets from either Fulham or Sheffield United. Not for me at this moment in time. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Guys, this is another example of a game that eye test can help you a lot with. So 1-1 the game ended, but Crystal Palace had a non-penalty XG of 0. I mean, they didn't have any shots on target, they didn't have any shots on goal at all throughout the entire game, and even the penalty that they got, it was very dubious. I'm not even sure if that was a penalty. VAR checks like 1.1 inch for the offside, and then they give such stupid penalties. It's very hard to accept VAR at this moment in time. But Crystal Palace didn't look good. Even if you think that you wanted to own Zaha and he did really well and you made a mistake not going for Zaha, I don't think so. I think Crystal Palace were very bad. Brighton looked really good in the game, but they didn't score a goal. And right at the excuse me guys, let me have a drink of water please. So right at the end, McAllister scored a goal and assisted by Connolly, but Brighton looked good. Tariq Lamptey looked really good, but would I be going for their assets at this moment in time? Brighton? Maybe. I think Tariq Lamptey is good, and even the striker Neil Mope looks good. Not in this game, but in general, he's on penalties. He looks good. But other than that, Lamptey, Neil Mope, yeah, Trossard. I was very interested in Trossard, but looking at this game, I'd possibly wait on Trossard as well. So Neil Mope or Lamptey, more so Lamptey. This game, what can we say about this game, guys? It's very, very crazy. I mean, Son was, I think, the most transferred player of the game week, and he started the game in the very first minute. After 45 seconds, he scored a goal, assisted by Kane, and so everybody who had captained Kane or everybody who had captained Son, they eased their nerves in the very first minute. But Spurs led until the 81st minute. They were leading 3-0, and I'm not sure why Mourinho decided to take off Son, because that was a very bad decision, because Son provides you the width and the counter-attacking ability that Kane doesn't. Maybe Bale wasn't sharp enough and he missed a very, very presentable chance. That would have been a Kane assist as well. So from this team, FPL wise, Spurs, obviously who to own, right? Son and Kane are the players to own. From the defense, I wouldn't go with Reguilon or Aurier, because I don't think they're going to keep too many clean sheets. The way they haven't kept a clean sheet this season in the first 5 game weeks, so I would leave their defense alone. I would leave their midfield alone as well. I wouldn't get Gareth Bale as of now, from what I've seen, from very little what we've seen of him. The only players I'd consider is Kane and Son, and I think that's enough. Two um, is good because their fixtures are not so difficult. But when their fixtures turn, I think one Spurs player could be enough, and that one Spurs player could be Son or Kane. West Ham, FPL wise, not too exciting. But Antonio had a good game actually. He didn't have any goal involvements, and all three goals came after he was taken off. But he in game week 8 we can think about Antonio. Other than that, maybe Cresswell you can consider, because Masuako, Cresswell, all these guys in the easier fixtures, I think they can do pretty well. But I wouldn't go for any West Ham assets as of now. Souček also looked kind of out of the game a little bit. This game, guys, Aston Villa, 4 games, 4 wins. My word, they are looking amazing. And to say they were in the relegation battle last season, it's the way things have changed for them is amazing. They've made some great signings. I think their striker, Ollie Watkins, is a really good signing for them. Barkley on loan from Chelsea, pretty good. Even that guy Bertrand Traore is going to turn out to be good for them. So they have some really, really good. Even their right back, Matty Cash, looked pretty good. So, and Martinez, obviously, how can I forget Martinez? So if you want to own a keeper below 5 million, I think Martinez is the one to go for, guys. It's amazing. I feel I made a mistake on Ramsdale, but whenever I change my keeper, my next keeper is going to be Martinez. And from this game, if you have Harvey Barnes, I would be pretty tempted to sell him because I didn't see enough from him. Although it might be due to the absence of Vardy, but I just didn't see enough from him to kind of keep him. If you can put a little bit more money and you can get James Rodriguez, it would be better. But other than that, Castan looked okay. I mean, if you have Castan, I'd probably tempted to keep him because he made some few decent forward runs, and against worse opposition, he could have attacking returns as well. And he was on for a clean sheet, but Aston Villa scored a very, very late goal in the 91st minute. Barkley, McGinn, Grealish, and obviously Martinez I've talked about, and then Ollie Watkins. All these options look amazing. If you want to go for an Aston Villa defender, you can think about going for if there's no problem with the money, I think Tyrone Mings can be a good option. He has 1 goal and 1 assist and 3 clean sheets as well. But if you want a cheap defender from Aston Villa, Matt Target or Konsa would be the ones to go for. But if you ask me one asset that I want from Aston Villa, one would be Martinez. And if I want to go for an attacking asset, I wouldn't be interested in going for Grealish or Ollie Watkins at this moment in time, although it might seem ridiculous, right? Maybe Ollie Watkins if I want to sell Che Adams, but I would be more tempted to go for somebody like McGinn. I think McGinn is a player which everybody seems to be ignoring. He already has 2 10-pointers and 1 5-pointer. So I think McGinn is the one which everybody's ignoring and going for higher, more priced Grealish and Watkins. But I think in midfield, McGinn can be a decent option as well. So there's a lot to talk about this game. I can't cover it all in this brief review, but we're gonna speak more about this. West Brom versus Burnley. Guys, this game was pay-per-view in the UK. Can you believe it? Who would give £15 to watch this game? It's crazy, innit? But I was happy that I didn't sit through this game, and I only had Taylor in this game, and I was happy he got a clean sheet. Not much to say. I wouldn't own any of the Burnley assets or any of the West Brom assets, even their defenders, the Burnley defenders. I wouldn't. If you have them, keep them, but if you don't have them, I wouldn't go for any of their assets at this moment in time. So yeah, that was an easy review, right? This game, I just finished watching this game. So again, guys, I don't think Wolves deserve to win this game. On the balance of play, I think Leeds were amazing in this game. They just absolutely dominated Wolves in the first half, and they had so many chances. The problem is they kind of spurned their chances, right? Wolves had a chance too. Podence had a wonderful chance to score, and he missed it. But other than that, I don't remember Wolves having too many chances. Saiz put the ball in the back of the net, but that was called offside. But otherwise, if you have Wolves assets, I would be really kind of concerned. But the player which I would be looking at is Kilman, guys. He had a clean sheet, so that makes it 6 points. So he even has an assist, so that makes it 3 plus 3. He's got 12 points. He got 9 points last game week. In the last game week as well, he got all 3 bonus points with a clean sheet. And this game week, he's got all 3 bonus points with a clean sheet, and he's got an assist as well. That was a lucky assist, to be honest with you. It wasn't really an assist. It was like he booted a long ball towards Jimenez. But, even the goal by Jimenez, if you haven't watched the game, you think, oh, all right, fine, Jimenez doing Jimenez things again, right? But it was a very, very lucky goal, to be honest with you. It was right at the keeper. It was a very tame shot, and it got deflected horribly and just went into the net. So if you own Jimenez, I transferred out Jimenez for a hit for Kane, and I'm happy with my decision from what I saw from Wolves in general and Jimenez in particular. Even I think Podence was really good in the game. I don't know why Nuno subbed him off. I think Podence looked sharp and good in the game. So if you have Podence, I would be tempted to keep him for a couple of game weeks more because of the fixtures of Wolves. Jimenez, I just think it's very hard to kind of warrant the price range. I think 8.6 is too much for a player who's never going to give you like a big haul, right? So I'm not saying he's a bad buy. I'm just saying that maybe there are better options in the same price category. So Leeds FPL point of view, I think Ayling looked pretty good. Last week we had a pretty long discussion about which one to go from Ayling and Dallas, and everybody was kind of saying that Dallas looked more attacking, Dallas looks better, so on and so forth. But to be honest with you, today Ayling was much better than Dallas, and that was kind of a testament to how well Leeds played, and he could have had a goal, he could have had an assist. So I think from Leeds, which players would I go for? Obviously, one of the defenders in Ayling and Dallas. If you give me the choice, I'd possibly pick Dallas. Even after today, I'd possibly still go for Dallas. But other than that, Bamford, I wouldn't go for Bamford, as I already told you. I kind of have a little bit of a stats thing about Bamford. And who else? Maybe Douglas Costa, but I wouldn't go there. Maybe Klish or Click, however you call him, because he's on penalties. But for now, I think the only players I would consider from Leeds is Dallas or Ayling, or maybe the penalty taker Click. Other than that, maybe nobody else. Saiss, Semedo, usual clean sheet, looked good. Saiss was pretty attacking. If Saiss keeps on playing on the left wing back position, I think Saiss is the one to go for. To be honest with you, over Semedo, even though Saiss is cheaper, I think Saiss is the one to go for. Alrighty guys, so that wraps up a brief review of all the game weeks. Let's get back and talk about my team, talk about and answer some of your questions and some of your knee jerks. I hope I was able to sum up the game week for you. Okay, I'm back and let me read your comments. So let's have some points, my friends. How many points did you get in this game week? You already know my points because you see them on the screen. I would like to hear how many points did you get. Hey Peter, hey Zodiac, hey Shag, hey Sean. Welcome to the live stream, guys. I'm so glad. When I started the stream, I had 9 people watching, and now we've got 30 plus. I'm so happy with that. So Zod says 78 points. Stanley says 70. Audu says 77. Sean 76. Peter says 62. That's fantastic, guys. It's nice to see a lot of good scores in the stream and lots of happy people as well. Shaik says 84 -4. That's pretty good. Howard says 94. That's a fantastic score. Congratulations, my friend. Rohit says 77. Yash says 44. I guess he didn't own any of the Spurs assets. Commiserations, my friend. Buckshot says 90. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Wow, that's a lot of good scores. I am so happy for you, all of you. Smelly Web says 71. Decent. Aditya says 77. Christian says 74. And Shlender says 64, and he's having a crying emoji. Come on, cheer up, my friend. 64 is a good score. It's not a bad score. Come on. Zod says, and I didn't even have Kane, but I had Werner. That's nice. I'm glad you stuck with Werner. I got rid of him after game week 4, but I'm so glad you stuck with Werner. This team was really unpleasant for me, but my score was okay. That's fine. In the end, you have to look at the score in it. Sean says, "What do you plan for the weekend transfer wise?" Yeah, the Mane assist. Peter says the Mane assist was disallowed. Sai's goal was disallowed. Mitrovic missed a penalty. You see, guys, there's very fine margins between having a great game week, between having a good game week, and having a bad game week, right? Sometimes there's not much you can do. For example, if you owned Jimenez, he was so lucky. He got that jammy goal, and he didn't look in the game at all. So that's what FPL is all about, right? So sometimes things go for you, sometimes they don't go for you. And but I just want to say that if you have a good score, congratulations. If you have a bad score, I'd just say keep plugging on. These things even out over the season, right? So if you have bad luck once, you might have good luck in the next game weeks. So just keep plugging, guys. Don't be too concerned about your scores, your ranks at this moment in time. Just be focused on building a good team. Yash says, should I have Watkins plus Foden or Grealish plus Brewster? Out of these, I'd have Watkins plus Foden any day, my friend. Well, lad says, what transfers did you make? If you mean what transfers I made before this game week, I actually made 2 transfers. I transferred out De Bruyne and Jimenez to Kane and Son, and I captained Kane. I took a hit as well, but it paid off handsomely. As you know, I transferred out Jimenez for Kane. That was pretty much a big swing for me. Sean says transfer plan for the next week. Yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, right now I haven't kind of made up my transfer plan. I'll show you my team. Hang on, let me show you my transfer page so that we can talk about it. There you go. So I have obviously have one free transfer, 1.4 million in the bank. So I have a couple of problems in my team. The one problem is this guy Ramsdale. He also fell in price today, and the other one is Davis, because these two, the major problem in my team is Davis, because Davis is not playing, right? And 4.9 million defenders sitting on my bench for the past 2 game weeks and not playing is not acceptable to me. So one transfer which comes to mind is I don't know who I'm going to get, but possibly I'm thinking about an Aston Villa defender. And I also want to transfer out Ramsdale because he has really difficult fixtures and I'm stuck with him now. He plays Liverpool next, and then he plays Manchester City, and then he plays Chelsea and even West Ham. I think I made the wrong choice on the keeper, but I have to rectify that within the next couple of game weeks. I just have to do it. So these are the 2 players that I want to move out. Not the most inspiring of transfers, guys, but it is what it is, right? The other transfer which I'm possibly mulling over, if I want to make an attacking move, this is a transfer that I could be thinking about, right? Because I think Everton have decent fixtures now. Southampton, Newcastle, Fulham, Leeds, Burnley. Sandwiched in between these games is a game against United, but it's at home. So if they gave a good game to Liverpool, why not to United as well? So this is one move that I'm thinking, moving Havertz to Rodriguez. So if I want to make an attacking move, I'd possibly put Davis on the bench for one more game week, and I'd play Ramsdale and move Rodriguez. So it's all up in the air right now. So please don't think that this is my final plan or anything. I just wanted to tell you because you asked about it. Buckshot says Wiz, Kane, Martinez, and Rodriguez are going up in price. Yeah, Buckshot, that's the problem. After I make this live stream, I'm possibly going to sit and think about my transfers. Guys, after this stream, if I make a transfer, right, I'll post it on my Twitter, I'll post it on Discord, and I post it on YouTube. So please, if if you follow me on Twitter or YouTube, you'll know if I make a transfer to kind of avoid the price rises. So please bear with me there. Kabir says, good game week, Wiz. Thanks, mate. I'm really happy I had a good game week. I think it was due. Haven't had the best of starts, but no nerves as of now. Auru says, I'm looking to get out Jimenez for Kane. Should I get him as soon as possible or wait for the Europa League game? Auru, to be honest with you, if I was you, I'd wait. If you have enough money in the bank that you can take a 1-point hit, like a 0.1 million hit, then I think it would be better to wait, because there's always a chance that somebody gets injured, right? So if you have enough money in the bank, I'd wait. Shaikh says Jimenez for Aguero. Thoughts? My friend, it's very hard to say whether you should get Aguero in or not. It's more a decision of instinct because I didn't see enough from Aguero in that game against Arsenal to kind of just say that you should transfer out Jimenez. I mean, Jimenez got more points than Aguero, and Jimenez has a decent fixture up next. So why would you transfer him out for Aguero? I don't think so. I considered Davies out and Konsa in. Yeah, that's a good move, my friend. I mean, I would make that, but the thing is, it all depends on whether I want to make an attacking transfer or a defensive transfer. I mean, I had the option of transferring out Davies for Chilwell even in this game week, right? But I decided to go Jimenez to Kane for a hit because I wanted to make Kane my captain, and I made an attacking transfer. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't, but it also depends upon what my move is gonna be. And even if Rodriguez goes up in price and I don't make the transfer today, I can still make it, before Friday. That's not a problem. Zod says Havertz can still make points against United, but then he got easy games after that. That's true, my friend. That's true. I know what you mean, but I just feel that over the season, I think until and unless Havertz or Chelsea come into too good form, I think Rodriguez is going to outscore Havertz from the way things are going. I would recommend Davies to Ayling if you want Martinez. I've already got Ayling, my friend, if you were answering me. Christian says, what shall we do with Trent Alexander-Arnold, keep or sell? To be honest with you, I would be tempted to keep Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think the Liverpool fixtures are really, really good. They play Sheffield next. Why would we kind of transfer Trent in that game? If you want money, possibly, and if you have two free transfers to burn, you can possibly do Trent Alexander-Arnold to Robertson. But for me, I'd possibly want to keep Trent. Bakshot says, I got a dilemma. Should I take Bruno Fernandes for Rodriguez? My other midfielders are Son, Salah and Grealish. Bakshot, I'm not sure if you want to transfer out Bruno to Rodriguez or Rodriguez to Bruno. If you can make it clear, then I'd possibly answer, my friend. Kabir says, thoughts on Chelsea midfield? I'm punting on Pulisic. To be honest, where was Pulisic playing in the game, guys? I mean, I watched the game. I couldn't figure out, was he playing wing back or what was his position in that game? He looked so isolated. He didn't look his usual self at all. So, if I wanted to go for Pulisic, I'd possibly wait a bit, before I made that decision. Luffy says Saint Maxima for Jorginho. I mean, if that's the move you're having to make, my friend, I think you've got a really good team. I'm not sure about the Newcastle fixtures, but I would possibly wanna have a look at the Newcastle fixtures before I can actually recommend this move to you. Wolves, Everton, Southampton. I think they're pretty, difficult games, to be honest with you. And Saint Maxima can score in any game. I'm not against that, but Jorginho I think is the better option. Zod says, here's a dilemma. Should I transfer out Davis for another defender like Konsa size and then bench Taylor, or should I upgrade Jimenez for Kane and then stick with Taylor in game week 6? I mean, it all depends upon whether you want to make an attacking move or a defensive move. Obviously, if you kind of transfer out Davis for another defender, you're actually getting a playing player in place of a player who has actually not started the last 2 games. But if you get Kane, then you're getting a player who you can actually captain. You're making an attacking move and you're getting a player who you can actually captain in the coming weeks. So it's all a matter of option, my friend. It's very hard to kind of categorically say which move to go for. Shaikh says wanting to have a Manchester City asset for next week. They play against West Ham. I can afford any Manchester City asset. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't play. I wouldn't kind of make a transfer against West Ham right now. I think West Ham were really, really good against Spurs. What happened in that game was right when the game started, West Ham weren't properly set up, and Son scored within the first minute. So before they could actually get into the defensive shape, Spurs were all over them, and 3-0 down against Spurs and still playing the way that West Ham played. I would be apprehensive to play players against West Ham at this moment in time. Bakshot says take out Bruno and buy Rodriguez as United fixtures are changing. I think that's that's a very difficult decision to make, Bakshot. I mean, Bruno is good in the big games as well as in the small games. So to kind of take out Bruno, it should be a personal decision, because logically, if you ask me, I think keeping Bruno is not a bad option, even against Chelsea. Chelsea are not the best defensive team, right? United can score against them, so I mean, you could keep him. I'm going Barkley to Greenwood for 2 game weeks. That means Greenwood to Barkley, right? If you want, you can go with Barkley, my friend. You can even think about McGinn, because we're not sure who's on penalties. If it's Grealish, then Grealish is the better option. If it's Barkley, then obviously Barkley is the better option. Yeah, it's very hard because I think Jimenez could easily get goals against Newcastle, even in semi-bad form. He still got 3 goals in 5 game weeks. To be honest with you, today he was very, very... he was out of the game. The goal he got was so lucky, so it's very hard to kind of say whether to keep Jimenez. But if the choice is Jimenez or Kane, I mean, I would possibly say Kane at this moment. Kane is really in good form. Sean says, what defender should I bring in? Chilwell, I guess, or you can go with Tyrone Mings. I think Aston Villa is looking really good as well. If you kind of think you want an attacking defender, then Roman Saiz looks to be in really good form, attacking wise as well, and he's playing left wing back too. Peter says, I honestly think that Spurs have massively overperformed, but it's too risky not having them now. To be honest with you, my friend, I think Spurs have overperformed. Maybe, they don't have as many points in the league. Maybe they've overperformed in FPL terms, but Kane and Son are too dangerous to not own at this moment in time, especially with the ownership skyrocketing after KDB got injured. Everybody got Son for KDB, right? So not having Spurs players, if you look at their fixtures, let me show you their fixtures real quick. I mean, Burnley, Kane and Son both like to score against Burnley. Brighton at home, West Bromwich Albion. I mean, why would you not have Kane and Son for these fixtures? I think we should. Josh says Arnold plus Chilwell plus Konsa plus Walker Peters. Is it okay? I'm not sure, my friend. I don't know if you're on a wild card. If you're asking me, this is the defense you're gonna go for. I think it looks perfectly good to me. You could go Robertson over Arnold, but that's your personal opinion. Atul says, hey Viz, thanks for telling me to go for Kane as a captain. You're welcome, my friend. I'm so glad you did it, my friend. Bale hat-trick next weekend, says Mr. Scuffy. To be honest, I can't say Bale's gonna score a hat-trick. He was one-on-one with the keeper. He was absolutely through on goal, and he just I'm not even sure how he missed that goal, right? Just maybe a little bit rusty, maybe a confidence thing. But if he had scored that goal, Spurs would have won that game, Kane would have got an assist, and Bale would have gained some more confidence. But he missed that goal, and then Spurs went on and drew the game, so it would kind of take a little bit of confidence away from Bale, from what I see. Yes says plus Kilman. Yeah, it's perfectly fine, my friend. Perfectly fine. Walker Peters, maybe you can consider somebody else for Walker Peters if you want, but otherwise I think Chilwell, Konsa, Arnold, pretty good, my friend. Peter says it's a -4 for me, or no Kane or Son again next week. Peter, to be honest with you, if you want a -4, then you should possibly go for Kane, because against Burnley, I would be more confident in captaining Harry Kane than I would be captaining Heung-min Son, So that's my opinion with that. Will you transfer out Davis? If yes, with who? Zod, really, to be honest with you, I want to transfer him out, and if I transfer him out, it would possibly be for an Aston Villa defender, but it's all up in the air right now. Whatever I say, it's just kind of my raw reaction without thinking too much, because the game week just ended. I haven't had time to think about it, so this is just my raw reaction. Shaik says, which midfielder would you suggest? Got Salah, Son, James and Hendricks. So you want to get a midfielder for Hendricks? I think Jorginho could be a good option for you, my friend. Kabir says Robo, Saiz, Kilman, Salah, Son, Grealish, Pulisic, Trossard, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Kane. Thoughts on transfers and captain for game week 6? I think it's too early to think about that, my friend. If you have a very pointed question, I think please ask me that, because it's very hard for me to process this information right now. Yash says no, Bale is too expensive. Yeah, I agree. Aditya says thinking about James. James to Dallas and Jimenez to Kane for a -4. Aditya, I think they're good moves. Maybe you can think about Konsa in place of Dallas, but Dallas is obviously more attacking. But I think Aston Villa have amazing fixtures, right? So you can think about an Aston Villa defender and Kane for a -4. Amrit says, joined late Wiz, really good weekend. I had both Kane and Werner. Wow, that's amazing. Amrit, congratulations for the good week, my friend. Richarlison out for who? I mean, the natural move, Sean, would be to transfer out Richarlison for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, I think that's the best option. But if you already have Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then we can think about something else. When is KDB back? I mean, he could be back as soon as next week. Who knows? Pep didn't give us a timeline, so we're kind of not sure about when KDB is back. Yash says I'm also going for Zaha of Crystal Palace. To be honest with you, Yash, I wouldn't recommend Zaha. For the same price, you can go for somebody like Grealish. You can downgrade for somebody like McGinn and invest elsewhere. You can go for Barkley. I mean, Aston Villa has really good cheap midfield options. Zaha, he scored a goal, but Crystal Palace had a non-penalty XG of 0. So if you want to go for him, it's up to you, my friend. I'm only here to give you my opinions on that. Zod says I would not pick Chilwell away against Arsenal. They're away against United. Zod, hard match, but also many injuries in the defense, so chance of a clean sheet is kind of not existing. Chilwell is a long-term pick, and Chelsea's fixtures are gonna turn soon. So for the long term, I think Chilwell is the best Chelsea option. Provides you an attacking outlet, and if Chelsea get a clean sheet, one day maybe, so he's a good option. Kane, Werner all day, any day. To be honest with you guys, I wouldn't get too carried away with Werner. He's not going to play Southampton every week. Southampton is a team which concedes a lot of goals one game week, and then they go back to playing against a low-lying defensive block, and then they win 2 games, and then they're back to playing a high line. I don't know what Hasenhüttl wants to achieve with slow defenders and a high line. But remember, Werner is not going to play against a high line every week. There are not many teams who play like that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Werner, Watkins, is it good? Yes, to be honest with you, I would make that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Kane and Watkins. That would be good. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying what I do here, if you're enjoying the live stream, we're already 45 minutes into the stream, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter, and if you want to join our Discord community, the link is in the description. You're most welcome to join. Aditya says I have Martinez, that's why Dallas over Konsa. I agree with you, my friend. I wouldn't double up on the defense, even though it's not a bad idea, but I guess it's still good. Zod says Iwobi will replace Richarlison. He will cost 5.9 million. It's a huge differential in the next 3 weeks. To be honest with you, from Everton, I would go with James Rodriguez, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or Digne. That's it. I wouldn't go with Iwobi. I think he doesn't possess too much goal threat. Now watch him score a hat-trick next week and prove me wrong. Amrit says I think Liverpool will struggle now that Virgil van Dijk and Alisson are out. Even Thiago. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Thiago is out or not, but Virgil van Dijk and Alisson are out, and Virgil van Dijk is a big problem because, he's the general of that Liverpool defense. But still, owning one defender from their team is not a big problem because they can get attacking points anytime. So one defender is good from Liverpool. Kabir says having Iwobi is as good as not having him. Yeah, I mean, Iwobi is a good player, don't get me wrong, but FPL wise, maybe not yet. Morgan says, do you think I should change Semedo for Saiss? Not happy with Semedo's performance tonight, and Saiss looked more attacking. I'd say 0.4, but do you think it's a waste of a transfer? To be honest, I think it is a sideways transfer. Last game week against I forgot who they played, Wolves. I think it was against Fulham, right? Semedo almost was one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Areola made an amazing save, right? So last week it was Semedo, this week it's Saiss. I think it will be a sideways transfer to make, my friend. So in my opinion, not, but it's up to you. George says don't forget to subscribe to the channel, people. Thank you so much, George. Bakshat says you're nice is a sideways move. Give Semedo time, he's a nailed on player. I agree with that. Peter says Kane plus Jorginho versus Jimenez plus Barnes. Kane plus Jorginho for me at this moment, my friend. I think Jorginho is a player who will give you a double-digit score, at least 3 more times this season. And for a player who's 5.2, I think he's worth it. For what he's enabling you to get Kane. I think he's amazing. Zod says Kane, Martinez, Rodriguez will rise in price tonight. We're not sure who's going to rise in price. The price rises are too volatile at this moment, right? Because many people using wildcards and stuff. But yes, I think obviously all of them can rise. More Kane and Martinez than Rodriguez. But yes, I know what you mean, guys. Aditya says, I had no Liverpool defense for 2 game weeks. Doesn't seem so bad now. Yeah, I know what you mean, Aditya. But, one of these game weeks, Trent or Robertson is going to haul because Liverpool going to keep a clean sheet eventually. And then everybody's going to go for them, right? So, I feel that no player in this game is essential. But we can only point out the ones who are desirable, right? Saleh says, hi bro, why so late today? Saleh, I always kind of do this aftermath streams as soon as the game finishes, so that's the reason I'm streaming so late today. Not ideal, as it's 3 a.m. where I'm at, but when you're committed to something, you have to do it, my friend. Kabir says, Wiz, do you think there are any shields and swords at this moment? Kabir, I do think there are shields, because in my opinion, Son is a shield. His ownership is 47.3%. So if you don't own him and he scores lots of points, he'll hurt your rank. So Son should be a shield. Definitely a shield. I mean, Kane is becoming a shield. He's gonna cross 40% before the game week starts, before the next game week. So I think Kane and Son, or at least one of them, is a shield. Similarly, one Everton player could be a shield. Other than that, I think none others are too much a shield. But a sword, I think Manchester City players can be a sword, to be honest with you. To attack, I think you can get Manchester City players, Riyad Mahrez, Sergio Aguero. These are the players who you can use as a sword. But I need to think more, but that's kind of what comes to mind right at this moment. Morgan says, I brought in Brewster as an enabler and I didn't pay to see the match, but judging by the FPL update, he seemed pretty irrelevant on the pitch. Surprised he didn't start. Morgan, I watched the game. I think Brewster was, for the time he was on the pitch, I think he did pretty well. I think he was good. And if he starts the game, he can do well. But the problem is the next 3 games are against Liverpool, City and Chelsea. I don't think he's going to do too much in those games. That's the problem. Enchanted Dirt says my formation is 4-5-1. Any formation that gives you good points is a good formation, my friend. FPL is all about points in it. Hang on, guys. Let me have a sip of water, please. Saleh says, without Virgil van Dijk, is Liverpool defense safe? I don't think so. I think even more so with Adrian in goal, they are not safe for clean sheets. But for attack, I think Trent and Robertson can get attacking points against any opposition. And now their fixtures have turned. Let's look at their fixtures. Look, Sheffield. West Ham is a difficult game. Manchester City again difficult, but I think they can keep a clean sheet against Sheffield, West Ham, Leicester, possibly, Brighton, Wolves, Fulham. I think out of these games, they can keep 3 clean sheets and get attacking points as well. So, and on top of that, they have an ownership of around 40% each. So, I think you need one of them to kind of cover for the Liverpool defense. Morgan says, I usually plan ahead quite well, but I don't know what I was thinking bringing him in with those fixtures. It's fine, my friend. It's a 4.5 million enabler, so it's not too much in that, right? If you want, you can start him. Who knows? Somebody has to score a goal against these big teams as well, so, why not? Zod says, Trent and Robertson will be attacking with or without Van Dijk, so don't worry about that. I agree with that. Is Rodriguez the penalty taker now that Richarlison is suspended? Aditya, it's up in the air, my friend. I wish I was sure. But I'm not. Rodriguez can take penalties. Who knows? Dominic Calvert-Lewin can take penalties for all we know. I mean, I was not even sure in the first place Richarlison was the designated penalty taker. I mean, if he took one penalty, that doesn't kind of make him the designated penalty taker, right? So let's see what happens. Yash says, which Leeds defenders should I go for? Yash, to be honest with you, if I had to make this choice, I would go for Dallas. You know, possibly Ailing and Dallas have not much to choose between those two, but if I had to choose one, I'd go with the Dallas, to be honest. Peter says no one is keeping clean sheets, so Liverpool defenders having less isn't that bad. Yeah, to be honest, this season has too much variance, Peter. But I think against a team like Sheffield United and against a team like Fulham, Burnley, I think Liverpool can keep a clean sheet, right? So, and I think the season is going to settle down. We are already seeing some kind of trends forming now. There is not going to be so much variance in every game week. For example, Son, Kane, attacking wise, good trends. You know, we already know that Fulham looked good for relegation. Sheffield is in the mix for relegation, so their defenders or their keeper might be not so good as last year, you know. And then we know that West Brom don't look too good. So we already have some trends forming, so we can target some teams. For example, we can target West Bromwich Albion, we can target teams like Fulham, and you know, we know that Aston Villa are really good this season. For example, they have cheap players and we can target them. Ollie Watkins, Grealish, McGinn, Barkley, and Konsa, Tyrone Mings, Martinez, and you know, so we have some trends. Not too much variance like in the first few game weeks. Saleh says Barkley looks very good. Yeah, to be honest with you, I wouldn't think we would be talking about Barkley if he hadn't scored that late goal in that game. We would be more talking about McGinn or Grealish or maybe somebody else, maybe Martinez. We would be all talking about too much more than Barkley. But I agree, he looks good for the price he is. I think he's good. Is -8 for a week okay, bro? Saleh, to be honest with you, -8 is good, but if you make it for the long term and you get players who can give you the points back, if you're taking it just for 1 week, I don't think it's a good decision, in my opinion, right? Again, I always say, guys, there is no one right way to play FPL. FPL is a game we all play for fun, to earn points, and you know, there's no one good way to play FPL. There are many managers with a different playstyle to me who do much better than I do, so I can only tell you from my experience, my friend. So Peter says -8 is always for the long term, so I guess he agrees with me. So yeah. So fellas, pretty strange game week in it. I'm really happy that I made the switch from Jimenez to Kane, even for a hit, because I had to captain Kane. So again, I would like to reiterate, this season my strategy is that if a player I want to captain has a good fixture and I don't have that player, I'd possibly even take a hit to bring that player in and captain him. If I don't want to captain a player, I would possibly not take a hit. So I took a hit for Kane only because I wanted to captain him. So that's my strategy for this season. Basically, going for my captains, nailing my captain picks. Every time you nail a captain pick, guys, you have a good game week, irrespective of how the rest of the team does. Hey Wiz, I think part of the reason people don't share your channel with their friends, as they are their rivals and you are good, surely they will get some tips. It's kind of a catch-22 situation, my friend. I want all of you to share my channel with everybody so we can grow, and you know, but it's fine. I mean, I'm happy with whatever viewership I've got. I'm so satisfied. I mean, if people want to listen to me, whoever wants to come, even if one person wants to come to my channel, I'm happy talking about FPL. That's what we love in it, my friends. So I would really appreciate if you could share my channel with your friends. If you really feel we do some good work here, if you feel that the suggestions we give, you know, the live streams we do, if they're really helpful, so please do share. I would really appreciate that. But the most I appreciate is you coming here and, you know, sharing your thoughts with me. I really appreciate that. Morgan says, I wildcarded last week and I think I made a very good team. I get excited so easily though. I know I don't need to make any transfers, but I want to do it just for the fun. Morgan, I mean, you know, being trigger happy is not always a good thing in FPL. If you can be patient, if you can roll a transfer, it might help you in the long run, right? So I'm happy. It's good you have a good team, but if you have a good team, then you should hold your transfer. Saleh says, bringing Kane, what a move, but unlucky for Tottenham. To be honest with you, it's a perfect result for me as an Arsenal fan. I mean, I wanted Kane and Son to score, but I didn't want Tottenham to win. But commiserations to all Tottenham fans, you didn't deserve to lose that game. Even coming from myself as an Arsenal fan, you deserve to win that game, and it's unlucky. Tabo says, what a game week. Thanks for the late night, my friend. Thank you so much for. I think I lost stream, guys. I think I lost the internet for a bit. Apologies for that. Sheikh says, good night, Wiz. See you for the game week 6. It's 3 a.m. here too. Good night, my friend. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Kabir says, catch you in the next vid, Wiz. Catch you later, Kabir. Likes and subs, guys, says Peter. Papir says, you keep Podence. I think I have to keep Podence. I think Wolves have decent fixtures, and I think Podence looked really sharp in this game week for me to. I think he showed enough for me to keep him. Saleh says, what do you think? Bale will be a good option? I think he can be a good option, but we need to give him time. Just like we needed to give time to Werner. We made a mistake going with him in the first game week. So, like we know that Werner is going to come good in the end, I believe that, Bale is going to come good as well. But we need to give him time. Mixed opinion on Lanzini's goal. Amazing strike or pure luck. To be honest, victory belongs to those who dare. In it, my friend, he dared to take the shot and it went in. If he meant to hit it so well, or he meant the swerve on the ball, who knows what would have happened, right? But he was brave enough to kind of take on the shot. So the victory belongs to him. I think it was a good strike, in my opinion. So we've been streaming for 1 hour, guys. So if you have any more questions, I'd like to take a couple of more questions. Then I'd like to end the stream and go to bed early. Rohit says, I wish Nuno would give Podence 90 minutes at some point. He looked sharp today. To be honest with you, I was really angry when he subbed off Podence because Podence looked their best player, and I was not sure why Nuno subbed him off, but it worked for him in the end. But it was a really jammy goal for Jimenez that and bad finishing for Leeds that actually led Wolves to win that game. But to be honest, against Newcastle, against all these teams, I wouldn't mind giving Podence another chance. I think Podence looked good. At 5.5 million or 5.6 million, I think Podence is a decent player to keep for the next couple of game weeks. He doesn't perform, we can easily move him on for somebody like Barkley, McGinn. There's lots of options coming up right now. So the thing is, I have a couple of problems in my team that I want to address, right? Davis, one of them, was not playing. 4.9 million, falling in price. Ramsdale falling in price. Che Adams was also a problem, but I'd possibly keep him after he scored a goal and assist. He could be more confident, right? So yeah. Salih says, good night, bro, feeling sleepy. I'm feeling sleepy too, my friend. I'll just take a couple of more questions, and I hope my voice doesn't start cracking with the sleep. Thabo says, your thoughts on Mitrovic? You think he's worth the keep? To be honest with you, I didn't see enough from Mitrovic to kind of say that he's worth the keep, but if I had him, I would possibly keep him. Let me see who he plays. Apologies, I should be knowing my stuff, but just skipped my mind, so I need to see who he plays. I mean, against Crystal Palace, West Bromwich Albion, I think I would keep him for the next 2 game weeks. If he doesn't perform even then he should be a goner, but for the next 2 game weeks, I would keep him. So that's my opinion about Mitrovic. Alrighty, guys, so I think that should be it. And so I finally finished the game week with 85 points because I took a hit, -4, total points 296, and let me see what my rank will be. And let me show you on live FPL. So there you go. So my rank is, I started at 2 million. So if you don't know this website, guys, it's called livefpl.net. You can use your FPL ID to see the live updates on your team. So yeah, I started the game week on 2 million rank, and now I'm very close to 1 million. So 1 million green arrow, guys. A hit for Kane and a 1 million green arrow due to the captaincy. Pretty happy with that for this game week. Gonna be making some transfers, maybe 2, maybe gonna take another hit because I have a couple of problems in my team, but I'm gonna update you about that in another video. This game week is on Friday, guys, so don't forget that. And I'm gonna be doing a couple of live streams before that. So if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. If you want to join Discord, the link is in the description. And I will see you soon in another video. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me right after the game, because I know it was a long day of football and you still took the time out, came on the stream. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. FPL Wizard signing out. Take care of yourself, guys, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye bye. See you.